Welcome back everyone to another presentation of Hourglass Productions. This is a continuation of the last video speaking on a budget. Before we get the video started, I would like to explain that I am not a financial advisor. I am not in any way advising anyone to do this. This is just an example I am using that has helped me and I believe can help others if used the same way I used it or in a way that it makes sense to them. If it doesn't make sense to you, please don't do it. Okay, this is the So Simple Money budget. The chart I created is very simple. I basically take my balance and I divide it by the days that are left till next pay period. So after I paid off all my bills, I do recommend that you try this after you paid off all your bills for that pay period. So let's say you've paid off all your bills and you have nothing to worry about but just food and gas till you get paid again. Now, you already have your $1,000 of emergency. So if you have any emergency that pops up, you shouldn't be tapping into this. You should be tapping into your $1,000 of emergency funds. If you haven't done that, I recommend you do that before you even try to do anything like this here. So let's say you went to the store, right? And there's 8 days left to payday. You got $348 in your bank account. You went to eat and took, a friend out to eat. So you spent $40. So we're just gonna subtract 40 from there. You can still spend $39 per day. You can still spend another $40 today, and you'll have $39 to spend tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day till payday. So let's say you didn't spend any more money on that day, so you went back to the next day. You got your 44 again. Let's say you spent $80 on the first day. You see how this number is dropping? It's not dropping drastically, but it's dropping slowly because you're biting into the chunk that you can be using every day until payday. So that is why I do this a lot. I think it helps a lot. I think it helps to budget every day and know how much you have to spend on average every day, because I like to keep it around this amount for food because I like to eat out and do things. So this is a good amount I like to keep right here. I just googled the average income per person and I got $1,800. I googled the average taxes a person pays in America. It's about 30%. The recommended amount to give is 10%. And the recommended amount to save and invest is 20% after you've paid off all debt. The rest is all yours. So that's how I broke it down to. That is the ideal goal. That is not how your pie will look like in the beginning, because your situation will not be ideal. Your situation will be different. So this is just somewhere we want to get to one day eventually. Let's not worry too much about how ours looks versus this one and blah blah blah, because we're not even inputting our information in yet to even compare it. Example. So because your income is $1,800, 30% goes to taxes, $540. That's $540, guys. That's a lot of money. A lot of people gross this amount but end up taking home $540 less than that straight to taxes. So if you're a giving person, you still don't care, you want to give $180 is the recommended amount, 10% of that. If you're investing, $360 per pay period, and the rest is all yours. And a lot of people pay this on a car note. So I know the situations can get tough. This is why we are working on what we're working on. So the bi-weekly chart here is already automatically there for the taxes and tithing. I broke it down to 3 categories, which is the budget, what you plan for, what you're actually spending, and the difference. Not going to worry too much about that because that's just self-explanatory. It's automatically calculated at the end, which I will show you here in a few. But here is the chart of expenses. I broke it down to bi-weekly, monthly, and annual expenses. Let's start with inputting the biweekly expenses, which about $200 on gas, $200 on food, $100 on fund money every 2 weeks, childcare if any debt, and then 20%, save 20%. We're not going to do that yet. We're not going to get there because we're just going to input on what we can work with right now, what needs to be done, and then we'll work out what needs to be fixed. So on utilities, let's say we spent about, not necessarily 400, let's say about 350 on utilities. $80 on the phone, $740 on rent. Then you have your subscriptions. Apple right now has a $30 subscription for 6 apps, I believe. And then Netflix is about $15, right, guys? So that's $1,200 a month already that you're spending on bills. And then we go to your annual subscriptions or expenses. So here, if you do any like yearly contributions or pay any yearly taxes and all that stuff is here. I put my Dave Ramsey Plus subscription, which was formerly known as Financial Peace University, which is $130 a year. PlayStation Network $80, and then Amazon Prime is $120, which equals out to $330 a month. Now, like I said, not every situation is like this. It's just a common example that I think is very self-explanatory, very easy to understand, and for me to show here. So what I did in this last chart, I averaged out in different categories. All the expenses above, I averaged it out to every 2 weeks, every month, and every year. So I can easily see my expenses annually, monthly, and bi-weekly by easily just putting a couple numbers in and running down here and looking at the results. Once I do my spending and I put all those expenses in the middle column, then this will change and it will show the difference that I have. That is all for this first video. On the next video, I will input expenses and we'll just go on what we need to do to fix this budget. Because as we can tell, our income is only $1,800 a month and we're budgeting $1,900 a month. So a couple things need to change there so we can be able to live at our means, not above our means, and we won't run into debt and having to pay interest and extra money on stuff we can't afford. That's what the next video will be about. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please make sure to like, subscribe, share, comment any suggestions that you would like to see differently on this video. If you haven't yet, go visit stickman.com. I also make music, I make podcasts, and I make other content that it would be useful for you, that I believe you'll like. So if you haven't yet, go ahead and check Hourglass Productions, and let me know what you think. I'll catch you on the next one.